The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
And you're going to love it.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I actually had a great weekend, and I'm going to start off by talking about my weekend, something I don't do very often. But anyway, Friday night, I got together, and they're getting shout-outs. One of them I know is listening. The other, I don't think will be listening, but I will make him listen, actually. But anyway, a couple of friends from college, Todd Keen, the Keen dog, Keener, as many of us at Miami of Ohio knew him, and then Jeff Brunka, who is another friend. These guys were Phi Delts in the Miami Greek system. I was an Alpha Delt in the Miami Greek system, but we were all friends in college, and we had good friends among each one of our various fraternities. Anyway, they were out. Actually, Todd was out visiting from Ohio, and then Jeff lives in California as well. So the three of us got together, and I'll tell you, man, we had such a good time. We really had such a good time. We went to a place called Joey's in Newport Beach, which is a great spot. And if you ever get out to Southern Cal, I will take you there. It's fantastic. And, you know, I did want to kind of start off today just talking a little bit about life and friends and, you know, all of that. And I'll be honest, I don't really share too much of what's going on with me personally on this podcast because, quite frankly, I don't really think it matters. And quite frankly, I don't think anybody cares. But, you know, we all go through things in life. And I've definitely been going through kind of, you know, a little bit of a funk, to be honest with you. And some of that has to do with, you know, honestly, well, I'm not going to get into that right now. But I will tell you, spending time with old school friends, friends that, you know, we've known before all this social media craziness and all of this technology. So think about it for the Gen Xers that are listening, and obviously the baby boomers, and maybe some of the millennials that are listening, not Gen Z. You guys are too feisty. But for everyone else, you know, life was very different growing up. You know, college was very different. The collegiate experience. Imagine no cell phones, no internet, no Facebook, no podcasts, no Instagram, no comments on Instagram. That's a shame because, dude, I love the comments section on Instagram. That stuff makes me laugh so much. TikTok's got good comments as well, but the comments on some of the videos on Instagram are the funniest shit I've ever read or heard in my life. It's hilarious. I practically live for the comments. Anyway, my point of all that is that I really had such a good time hanging with these guys, and we talked about so many different things and obviously reminisced about the college days and, you know, talked about everyone and their mother in terms of friends of ours from college and all of that. But, you know, it really made me realize the value of not only maintaining friendships from the past, but really working at those friendships and working to, you know, do more than just follow each other on social media and do more than, you know, maybe even do more than just texting each other, because I find that my relationship with, you know, a lot of my close friends over the years have now kind of, you know, evolved. Well, I don't want to say devolved because that's kind of not the right word, but they've transformed. How about that? Transformed into, you know, texting relationships. And again, I think that is great to an extent. I really do, because obviously we're still in touch. I know what's going on with them. They know what's going on with me, but nothing can replace a phone conversation. You know, the lost art of phone conversation. I think that is amazing. But then even more than that is obviously getting together and spending time in real life, IRL, with one another. And, you know, what what happened for me Friday, just spending 4 hours with Todd and Jeff was, I don't know, man. It just really was like I needed that. I really did. I needed that. I needed to kind of hang with friends from the past. And again, the three of us, it's not like, and this is just the truth, it's not like we were all best friends or anything. We weren't. We were, in different fraternities but we all knew each other and we've known each other over the years. But even that, I can't say we've, had close relationships over the years. Jeff and I a little bit more because he's been in and out of living in Los Angeles and California. But with Todd, what's great is he is a loyal Deep Shallow Dive listener, and he's going to get a free pair of socks because of it. And by the way, I will be putting the socks online on the Deep Shallow Dive website, and I actually have a lot more than I thought I did. And so I'm going to start doing various giveaways, and I'm going to give away a ton of socks to people, and Todd's going to be one of them. All right. So anyway, my point is that I really had such an enjoyable time with these guys, and man, it's pretty crazy. It kind of brought me out of my funk a little bit. Like it genuinely did. And we had a hilarious text thread over the next couple days. I am not going to share any of the contents of that thread with anybody, but it was funny, man. And I found myself, I don't know, man, the old Ray D is on his way back. And I know that's probably hard for some of you to even imagine that, he hasn't been here this whole time, but he really, I don't know, man. I'll be very honest. He really hasn't. Now, obviously he has because I've put out 291 episodes, but very candidly, I think part of why I have, what's the word I'm looking, gravitated so much to this podcast and why I enjoy it so much is, it has given me maybe that connection that I've been a little lazy to really continue outside of this with, I don't know, some of my friends, some of my network, and not even my friends and network, but just my life, it's so easy to just get wrapped up in your own little bubble and your own little routine. That's another thing. Like, man, I've really become a creature of habit. I really have. I've become a creature of habit. And maybe some of that has to do with age. Again, I never thought I would be that guy that would be quote unquote stuck in any ways. But I find myself being that a little bit, I really do enjoy my routine. It's not definitely not as exciting as it used to be, but man, it works for me and I enjoy it. And I think it's anchored around, for me, it definitely one of the anchors is this podcast. Another anchor is, my commitment to my personal health and wellness. And that was displayed again this weekend with a 27,000 step day on Saturday, followed up by a 22,000 step day on Sunday. So almost 50,000 steps over the weekend. So that's a pillar for me. I make a commitment to that. Obviously the technology stuff and like trying to stay up to speed on all this AI stuff, I guess that's another part of my lifestyle right now. But I really enjoyed just getting back to, God, I mean, I don't even know how to position it, but there was just something about the time we spent together, the three of us on Friday night that was really impactful for me. And I really enjoyed it. And I want to thank them both for being a part of that and genuinely being a kind of a inflection point for me with a lot of things and with my life right now. It really has. So Anyway, thanks, Todd and Jeff. Had a great time. Really had a great time. And so I want to encourage all of you to, not be lazy about things. And again, I say that because I've been that. I've been that. Like, I've been lazy about doing certain things that I never used to be lazy about. And so I want to encourage you to not be lazy. I definitely want to encourage you to take advantage of any opportunity to see friends from the past. And I will have to give my brother a shout out for that as well, because he's been so good over the past several years, post COVID for sure, of like, I'll be like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm going to have lunch with so and so. And I'll be like, seriously? Like, I didn't even know you kept in touch with that person. And he's like, well, it's not that I've kept in touch so well, but they're going to be in town and, I'm going to take advantage of them being in town and spend time with them. And I've really respected the way my brother has done that. And he's been excellent about it. He's been genuinely excellent about, taking advantage of those one-off opportunities that friends from the past or people from his past enable him to do. And mainly that's like either them visiting San Diego, or if my brother's traveling to a certain city and certain people, like honestly, we have a family member that lives in Austin, and my brother was there for a work event, and he made time and went and saw those people. And I'll be honest, I don't think I would have. Like, I think, and it's not that I don't like those people, I genuinely do, but it was my lazy mentality, like just being like, I don't feel like doing that. You know what I mean? But like, I really gave my brother credit for making the time in what was a very busy schedule for him while he was in Austin, in order to see those, somewhat distant family members. So anyway, big learning. I really did want to start off talking about this because I feel like for the past, gosh, who knows how many episodes, I just launch right into the geopolitical stuff or the AI stuff or the health and wellness stuff or whatever. And so, I am going to try and start to bring a little more, I don't know, maybe even a little more personal stuff that's going on with me to this. And anyway, hopefully, if that's something you like, let me know. If you're like, dude, we don't want to hear that stuff, just tell us what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. I'll stick to that. But all right, moving on. What did I want to talk about? Oh, I will tell you guys, man, I did 2 amazing interviews yesterday, and I'll try to get both of them out. And by the way, I'm trying to really streamline my interviews, meaning maybe have them stick to kind of the 45-minute sweet spot. But more importantly, I'm really being a little more discerning when it comes to who I'm interviewing, because again, I want to make sure you guys are getting value out of these interviews. I love when I get feedback, and Todd gave me a lot of great feedback on Friday night, and I'm going to share those in a second. But one of the pieces of feedback that Todd gave me was, and I was asking him, I'm like, hey, do you like these interviews? Do you like the interviews I do? And he's like, they're okay. He's like, I kind of like just listening to you. And so obviously I took that as a tremendous compliment, and I texted his wife, Amber, and I said, hey, don't worry. There's nothing going on here. It's just, he just likes listening to my voice. I have a soothing voice. What can I say? I'm kidding. But anyway, I will try to basically make sure that the interviews that I'm bringing, truly do add value. So I do want to commit that to you guys as well. Another piece of feedback Todd gave me, which I do want to mention because I am absolutely going to put this on the radar, is, when I talk about the health and wellness stuff, he said, hey, I love hearing about all that. And I think it's played a role in his health and wellness, which makes me happy. But he said, let's get into more of the food stuff. And, would love to hear more your take on how I can eat better while I'm at work, or how I can eat better when it comes to the weekends, or when I go out to dinner, or anything, really diving into the food stuff. And we talked about, the book Good Energy, which is by that brother and sister duo, which again I tremendously respect and I give a lot of credit. I'm talking about Casey and Callie Means, and obviously I've brought them up on the podcast several times. And they went on Tucker Carlson. They got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. involved. I think the two of them were part of, really instrumental in the formation of this Make America Healthy Again MAHA, which, by the way, it's like, what happened to that? Why do we've heard nothing about that since RFK Jr. was appointed. Now, granted, I understand things take time, but it is a little bit disappointing, along with so many other things of this administration that have been disappointing. But it's disappointing that these guys haven't hit the ground running faster and better, and really started to make America healthy again. Like, dude, the clock is ticking. You guys only have 4 years, and you really don't even have 4 years. You basically have 3 years, and you've already lost 2 months of that. Like, we haven't heard anything about how to make America healthy. So that's disappointing. That's definitely disappointing. And then the other thing about the book, which the three of us agreed about, well, really, Todd and I, Jeff was a little on the outstretch. Jeff has one of those hipster beards. Those beards I'm talking about. They're like you know what I'm talking about. It's like those hipster beards. I've realized the Deep Shallow Dive hasn't broken into that hipster crowd yet. And so, Jeff with his hipster beard, he loves Good Energy, the book. But Todd and I, we deep dove a little more into that. And an amazing point that Todd made was, he said, the problem with that book, and the problem with, really the methodology of Casey and Callie Means and everything about it, is it's just too hard to implement into your life. And for those of you that don't know about that book, it really is. It's like, not everybody can shop at farmers markets 3 days a week. Who has the time to do that? Not everybody can buy organic everything, who has the financial means to do that. Not everybody can, Callie Means, she talks about like praying with her food and things like that. And again, I think that's cool for those that are into that, but the average American can't do any of that stuff, or doesn't do any of that stuff. And I will say, I read the book as well. And honestly, I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was actionable. You know what I mean? Like, there was not much for the most part that I've implemented into my life after reading that. And so what we talked about, and really what I'm giving thought to, is, trying to maybe write my second book and maybe it's not a book, maybe it's an app on your phone, or maybe it's, I don't know, a course online or something. But when it comes to health and fitness, I really want to try to crack the code on giving a defined set of actionable next steps for people to do. And that can include what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, when to walk, how much to walk, how to get some strength training in. I can't say I'm the expert on any of those individual things, but I think I'm pretty knowledgeable on all of those collectively, and how they can be brought into quite frankly, a daily routine that you can implement into your life in order to take control of your health, and in order to truly get your health in the place it wants to be. Because I'm not going to lie, people, your boy is And I'll be honest about my weight. I'm down to 146 now with the goal of getting to 144. I weighed 144 my sophomore year in high school during my undefeated amateur boxing career, where I ended up 101. I've talked about that story before. But I also weighed 144 in like 2012, 2013 when I was super into like fresh vegetable juicing. Dude, it was insane. I would drink 32 ounces of fresh vegetable juice every day. I have never felt that good. I felt amazing. And I did that for almost 2 years. And I will tell you, my skin was glowing. I feel like my skin's pretty good right now, but man, it was glowing back then. But I did weigh 144. And then after that, I've really gone back up closer to the 150 range, and I haven't really been able to sustain anything less than that. But I've been sustaining 146 for about a week. And I'll tell you, the key that has kind of broken me through that threshold of, let's say, 149 to 151, and now I'm at 146 to 147, really, really close to 146 actually, is I am eating earlier, and I'm almost implementing my own version of intermittent fasting, although I'm not being like monitored about it. But what I'm doing is I'm eating around 11 o'clock, and then I'll eat again around 4 o'clock. And that's kind of it. So I guess I am doing intermittent fasting. I'm eating in that like 5-hour window. And then at night, though, I will say I don't not eat anything the rest of the night. If I get back from the gym or get home later, like around, let's say 7 or 8, I'm really just kind of eating some vegetables. So I'll eat some broccoli, I'll eat cucumbers. Persian cucumbers are delish. Or I'll eat, some bell peppers or things like that. Sometimes I dip them in some ranch dressing or something, which again, I know that ranch dressing is probably not the greatest thing in the world, but I am eating a little, let's call it a snack sometimes, around 7 or 8 at night. But again, that snack is vegetable based. Celery, I eat a ton of celery. I'm eating like a lot of celery sticks. And by the way, with the celery, I will eat a lot of peanut butter. And even without the celery, you know what? I do want to say this. Yeah, actually, peanut butter. Peanut butter is an amazing snack. I'm not kidding. I'm buying the 2 gigantic jars of Jif Crunchy with the blue wrapper from Costco. And I will tell you, I am eating a lot of peanut butter. Now, I know there's some fat in peanut butter, but it's okay because when you're not eating a lot of carbs, and I'm really not eating a lot of carbs, I'm eating primarily protein, I think it's okay to add fat to that mix. So a lot of times at night, this is like the Fred Flintstone caveman in me. Let's say I'm like, just need something. I'm not kidding. I open up that Jif peanut butter and I take a spoon or a mallet and I just scoop out a chunk of peanut butter and I eat it. And my mouth is super dry, but I love it. Sometimes I eat 2 spoons. And that's probably a couple hundred calories, but it's also 15, 20 grams of protein and then maybe 10 grams of fat. But I don't think that's bad. I really don't. I think the fat intake is absolutely doable and manageable when your body does not have carbohydrates that it needs to burn in order to burn the fat. So what happens is when your body takes in no carbs, carbs are the first thing that it burns because it's the easiest thing. But when there's no carbs to burn, and let's say you just ate a scoop of peanut butter, your body's going to convert the fat from the peanut butter first, and it's going to turn that into glucose. And that glucose is what you're going to use for energy. And then it's going to take the protein from that peanut butter and again, turn that into something that it can either burn or help build your muscle. And so when I'm going to the gym and I'm coming home at 8 or 9 o'clock or whenever, I will take a scoop of peanut butter or I'll drink kind of one of these little protein shakes I have. Although, honestly, I can't say I'm a crazy fan of these protein shakes. I think they're loaded with so many preservatives. They're probably not great, but they're like 160 calories. Supposedly, they're giving you 15, 20 grams of protein. And I do take them now. So I'll have to see if there's a better alternative for that. But anyway, the peanut butter, I really think you should add that to your diet. I absolutely do. I think it's it's almost like a gateway snack. It's like something that you can eat with vegetables or something else. Or if you just need something, I'm telling you, go Fred Flintstone caveman style and just scoop up some peanut butter in your spoon and eat it. All right, this is wild. We're at 25 minutes. I literally did not press stop on this podcast. This was, I'm not going to say one breath because obviously I've taken more than one breath, but this is the first episode in a long time that I have literally not stopped the recording. So this was, man, one cohesive stream of thought. And by the way, I didn't prepare either. Oh, that's another great piece of feedback Todd gave. He said, hey, it'd be really interesting if you share with us the not the dynamics of a podcast, but the financials of a podcast. Like, are you making money from this? How does that look if you're comfortable talking about that, which I absolutely am. So I'm going to talk about that in another episode, and then also talk about a little bit more of my process of how I podcast and how I do things. I know I've talked about that a few times, but I'm going to talk about that more so you fully understand what goes into the creation of this, and then also understand the financial model behind it. But all right, holy guacamole. Now I'm purposely not stopping the podcast because I want to do this on one take. This is seriously a one take podcast, which, gosh, I haven't done that in a long time. All right, everybody. We've got a good week ahead. I am going to try to get 4 episodes out this week, and 2 of them might be interviews, maybe even more. I might even release an interview on Saturday, but we've got a lot of good stuff coming. I'm going to dive more into the health and wellness stuff. I'm going to get into food. I'm going to get into food prep. I'm going to get into all that. So anyway, again, episode is dedicated to Todd Keene and Jeff Brunka. Good stuff, boys. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for an enjoyable Friday evening and man, getting your boy out of his little self-induced funk that he's been in a little bit. That's it, everybody. Call a spade a spade.
That was a great way to end it.
This episode was brought to you by the new book, Deep Shallow Dive Into You, available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in hardcover and paperback. Don't forget to sign up for our new mailing list on our website at deepshallowdive.com.